Well, hello there, viewers. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make a paperclip assassin's blade. It's a little thing that I made in school. It was just made of simple paper clips. It was just a play toy that me and my friends were messing around with. I showed them how to make it, and we were all just playing around in school. We were just simple little things. Um, I made this a few, like 2 or 3 years ago, and surprisingly, I haven't seen anything like it. No simple designs, just for a simple disposable style, just play around assassin plates. So I made one. This is all you're gonna need. Need those pliers. Right now I have ones that have a hook at the end. It does not matter. Um, Roll of electrical tape. The one that I got is a little fucked up, but the tape still works. Scissors, just to cut the tape. And paper clips, but just you're gonna need one that's bent just like that, just so you can put it over your ring finger and be able to have that like that. Okay. First off, obviously, paper clips don't come bent out like this. So this is the first thing you need to do is bend out as many paper clips as you can get. Honestly, it doesn't matter how long or honestly, it doesn't matter how long the paper clips are or how long you actually or how many you use. Um, Next off, obviously, you want the hook piece. Just make sure it's bent a little backwards and then just towards a little circular bend just so it can go around your finger. Then at the bottom, make sure pretty much all of them need to have that little hook at the bottom. That's pretty much it. And so now, pretty much the moral of this is going to be, uh, let me get all the forked ones that have them bent on both edges. Honestly, you might just need more than what I have. It doesn't matter. And so pretty much the only reason why you really need to needle nose is one, I bent all these by hand. It really doesn't matter, but the tips they're really hard to bend, just because you don't want to bend them too far in, just because then you won't have as much. You just have to use more, and it might feel more uncomfortable for you to use. So yeah, just want to make sure it's a little bend just at the tip, just enough to hook them to the next one and then bend them down. So yeah, I'll start hooking these and then go ahead and bend these in. And the only reason why I have tape here is because sometimes along the main shaft, I'll show you when it's finally done. The main piece that goes up the arm that actually is the blade piece is needed to be straight. It can't be all bendy. Like you can use it even if it is a little bendy. Doesn't matter. Hold on, I'm just clean off the needle nose. uh, if you want, you can take off all the plasticky stuff that's on the paper clips. It won't do anything. Honestly, like I'd probably leave them on unless they get really messed up or something, just because then it's smooth on your skin and you don't have metal being rubbed up against you or anything. So yeah. Then, alright. I'm gonna skip forward a little bit just so we get most of these done. Yes. That's why I wasn't worried about the cat. I did. You were looking at the cat. It's fine. Really, it's fine. Okay. Now that I just fixed the end piece to this, so it's a little smaller. You want it so the main piece that has the finger hook is at least a little bit flexible. You don't want to have that too hard to move around. So, and if it gets a little bulky, don't worry about it. I'm probably gonna have to bend a few more of these. So, uh, just make sure when you do this that they don't come too far down. You don't want the hook going more than just at the bottom of this crease right here in your hands. You don't want it going past where it meets. Alright? You want it right about there just so you can still grab it with your ring finger. Or pretty much whatever finger, just I use my ring finger. It's more assassin like, bro. Yeah. See, it's a lot easier without the bent tip in your nose, but whatever. It really doesn't matter. It just takes a little bit more time. Don't judge me, guys. I'm making this. And honestly, this isn't supposed to be one that you're supposed to be able to go out and, oh, I'm gonna go stab some people. No, it's supposed to be, okay, I'm just gonna play around with my friends, and we're all gonna be all assassin like, blah blah blah. I know since right now I'm in high school, there was a game that was going around a while back. It was called Assassin, where everyone would be chosen a target, and we'd all have to go find them. And then when we find them, all we do is we go up to them and we just either tap them or we take off like a piece of tape or whatever they had, and that'd be it for them. Then they'd be kicked out, and whoever's left at the end of the day wins. So pretty much the moral of it, just uh, these really did help just because if you did feel a prick on your neck or something, then you would obviously know you just lost. Not saying, oh, let's run around school with these and stab people. No, no, disclaimer for that. Don't do that. That's really stupid. This is just for like a little toy game, just playing around. You can honestly put pretty much anything at the tip for the actual blade, even though I'm just going to be using paper clips for all of it. Um, so yeah. Now at the bottom where, because so far I haven't really said too much about how it goes. Um, Now it has a ring piece, and then it goes across in it, and then all you got to do is make sure it bends at the bottom, like just make sure it's a little bendy. This is where it's going to be uh, divoting because we're gonna make two paperclip kind of bracelets. You can use normal bracelets, like just the bracelets, the jelly bands, whatever. Um, you can pretty much use any of those just to be able to hold it down, just so you can be able to do this. Just simple little toy. No need to get all professional with this. Come on now, people. And yeah, sometimes the fork at the bottom isn't the best, but it doesn't really matter. Now, you honestly want to make the blade, like if you have short paper clips and then maybe a few longer paper clips, make sure the longer ones go mainly towards the blade because that's the part that you don't really want to be folding at all. So, just make sure you remember that part of valuable infinition. And anyone wondering what that was my cat. Here's my put set. Put. These are really fun to have just because when you're playing around with your friends, it's a lot of fun to pretend you're a little assassin, especially you little kids that don't exactly want one to have to sit there and make a $100 professional dollar freaking ninja assassin style one. You just want to be able to play around and mess around with your friends or whatever. Just make sure you don't do nothing stupid with these. I don't want to be charged with nothing. Um, and if you do, even if you do, just don't be stupid with it. Don't blame me. So I have my screen set so it goes off every like minute. I need to fix that. I'll do that later. Alright, and then just make sure when you come down to the final piece, make sure it's just you don't fold both sides. You just fold the one side, and then you just. I'm gonna fix this one just because I got lazy for the last ones that I didn't fold on both sides, and I just left the smaller fold on the inside. So I'm gonna fix that real quick. And honestly, it's easier to like for most part, it's easier to unbend with your hand because then you get to see what you're doing easier and you're not messing it up. Just make sure it's not a big fold at the end. That's like the main premise of this. Just don't do that. And this little. And really, once it's done, you seeing it is a lot easier to understand what I did with this than me doing all this. So like you can tell, like honestly, it's really easy just to make this simple little paperclip version of an assassin blade. So it's really easy, simple, and so far, really, this is the most of it right here. It's just the, the bend is where I got my finger at. Just that is pretty much the most of it. Like there's really not much to it. Honestly, this is a little longer than I wanted, so I'm just gonna take off the screen piece right before the edge real quick. I wasn't thinking about that when I folded it. So it's really annoying. Damn screen timeout. Much better. So you want the blade to be just a little lower than the actual hook itself, just because when you have the hook down, then you can just have the blade down, well, paper clip down, and then you just pull it up and, well, bam, oh damn. Now, with the rest of these, it's even more simple just because I'm just solely using paper clips. You can use whatever bracelets you want, um, pretty much whatever's most comfortable for you. Just pretty much just do that. I'm just going to be doing this real quick. Just make sure when you do this, it has either, it can go under like a band to make sure it's that like held down, or you want to make sure one of like when these are connecting, like you can have this piece going right here on the back, and then just have them going around with like two small ones, and then when they connect, make sure one's out a little more so you can fold it over into a ring, and then the actual blade goes through that ring. That's all you gotta really make sure. And just make sure you have two of those, like just two sets with the little ring for the blade to go through, and that's it. So I'm just gonna do that real quick. I'm not really gonna talk for this portion of it, just doing this real quick. You want to make sure the front and back one are both pretty tight on your arm, just because you don't want it being all loose and having them fall off or anything. Um, Make sure when you have them, like this will be the this piece right here is going to be where the loop is. Just make sure you don't bend this one down so it clamps on. Just have it so it just is open, just so you can flip it on and off whenever you need to. Just make sure the rest of them are pretty much all but those, these right here, these little flips, get pushed down pretty tight on there. And the ring, honestly, it can be just a little tiny little itty bitty little thing. Doesn't need to be a giant ring for this thing to be in. Just make sure it doesn't poke you, because then it'll just be discomfy. You don't have to worry about it. You don't really have to do much for this. Um, yeah, so far that's pretty much it. You just have this hooked on there. It looks just like that, just a simple little piece of crap. It's a lot easier just with the bands, but who really cares? I'm just doing this with the paper clips. So yeah. When you have this, try and make sure it's relatively, the ring is in the center of your arm or wherever the blade is supposed to be coming out. And then just make one more of these and I'll be done. I'm so close, Jane. Da-da, da-da. I don't know if you guys can see it whenever my string goes out, so I'm just gonna make sure I stop doing what I'm doing when that happens. And trust me, if you unbend all these paper clips with your fingers, the tips of your fingers might be a little sore, because mine sure as hell are. Oh, and make sure this thing's comfy on your arm. Like, you don't have to make it be all look cool or anything, even though it's just a bunch of paper clips. You don't have to make this, like, look anything awesome. It's just supposed to be a simple little toy. It's not anything serious. So, just make sure it's comfy on your arm, guys. Like, you don't have to be worried about anything about it. So, now for this, I might, just because on the other little arm bracelet thing, I had it a little, or I had a big one, so I was able to have just enough room to be able to do the ring. So this one I might have to cut a piece off of one of the normal size, or one of the small little ones I got. So just make sure this one goes a little bit farther back on your arm. You want to make sure that, of course. Now for this, you just, if you need to, just, oh snap. That was so difficult, guys. So difficult. That was the hardest part about all of this. Was that little snap. And the only reason why I even have tape is just to make the again the blade be able to stay together a little bit easier, so it's not all foldy. It doesn't cut anything. No, you don't exactly need tape. Just that's the moral of this. Oh damn! Look at that, guys. I think I'm about done here. I'm about to just assemble this little guy and let you see it for yourselves. Now remember, this is just a little toy, not trying to be all serious with it. So just, again, make sure it's comfy, make sure you can just play around. This is not for serious fighting or any of that kind of seriousness. Oh, look at this. Go in, gonna go in, up, and honestly, that's it. Oop, on this back one's a little loose. Hold on. Alright. And there we go, boys and girls. Um, just apply tape to where you need it. You know, it's not required. And honestly, that's it. If you can see it. Yeah. So here's a little blade. You just pull that back, and whenever you don't want it, you just well, you'd probably be wearing a shirt or something just because you go in assassin, so you want that over it. But it wouldn't just fall out. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Um, like if you would like to give this a try. Um, honestly, this is just a little toy, so hope you little kids have fun making your paper clip assassin's blade and go kill them.